Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Welcome to this beat breakdown video. It's a nice R&B beat. It just has some vibes to it, and I'm really excited to share with you the sounds and hopefully some cool things that I did in the beat that helps you use it in your own production and just build you as a producer and take you to the next level. So in this beat, it has like, oh man, it has some really cool stuff going on, and I definitely can hear it on the charts, man. It's just special, and it's getting tons of plays, tons of notarization. You know, it's a vibe beat. So, and with R&B beats, you know, you can also have rappers on them too. It just depends what they do, artist wise, vocally. And you can hear a bunch of different artists on it. So anyway, let me jump into it. Oh yeah, if you like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats. That's PHANATIC, or Sounds for Producers on Instagram as well. So the first thing I started with was actually a pad loop. So check it out. Vibes right there immediately. I can't stress enough the importance of the first sound you start with, because that sets the tone for the whole beat. So usually with like loops or whatever, I'll let's see, what did I do? I pitched it up and I stretched it to the tempo that I wanted, which was a common 140. And then I actually used parametric EQ2 to cut out some highs and lows. So I have this area focused, the low mids and the mids, and I use shaper box. I actually have the new version of this. I used a stutter effect and only have the mix level at 32%. So it kind of gives it this movement, this jumping around. So let me turn all of this off and let you hear the loop by itself without the effects, but it is still pitched. Actually, it's still nice, but with the movement and the EQ. And doing stuff like that is vibes, man. It's already, you got this bouncing thing, like your head's already like, yeah. You see what I'm saying? So you took like just a regular color and kind of made it your own color. You added a little bit of gray, a little bit of white to brighten it up, and then you made a gradient. You know what I mean? You just kind of did some crazy, not crazy, but just little subtle things to make it your own, and it's also a different pitch. So anyway, yeah, try things like that, especially with pads or leads, and experiment. You never know where you end up. So to complement that, the next thing I added was like these really cool plucks. So check it out. So notice I have pattern 1 and 3, so it's the same notes but an octave up, so it feels like it's getting higher, or your energy is like, what's going to happen? So and that repeats throughout the beat. If you notice, 1 3 1 3 1 3 all the way through the beat. And that particular sound was done with Omnisphere, and I can show you which sound just in case you want to ever look it up and use the same sound and you have Omnisphere. It took me a while to save up for that. Let's see. It's the Pop Cinco Pluck, and I always love the names they choose. It's probably under plucks. If you just type in plucks here, and you'll find it. So the next thing I added, I believe it was a lead. So let's start here and also do that. And with that pluck, I did some cool stuff. I cut the lows so that way the drums, you know, and lower frequency stuff that I want would cut through. I did a little bit of reverb. The decay is 2.3 seconds. Always make the stereo separation wide to give it a fuller sound. And 62% wet level up. And I'm shocked that I didn't cut more lows than that. But anyway, you don't need these exact settings. You can kind of just mess around and hear what you want to do. And I used a reverser. That was with I think a company called Kilohertz. It's like a reverser reverb, so it does some cool effects too. And actually, let me play the plucks by itself without the effects. with effects. So you get the idea. And now for the third sound I added, shockingly, I went straight to a bass and did a lot of craziness to it. So here it is. And the notes, this bass is moving all over the place. So to complement what I did with the other sounds, you got a straight pad, but it has movement. Then you have these plucks that have a nice melody, but the bass has its own melody. And this is some things that you can do in your beats. Notice sometimes I just do this unconsciously because I just be so in the zone and I make so much music that I forget that, you know, I do these things. And when you start doing stuff subconsciously and it sounds dope, you getting up there. So I'm blessed, man. My bad. I'm gonna keep the video rolling. My dog wants to be a part of this video. So anyway, the bass actually moves a lot. And notice the notes connect, like they bend. Nice. And what I did for processing, I'll try to make this quick because that could take forever if I go over every little thing I did with that. What sound did I use? Let's solo the bass. I use expand. Wow. Well, I rarely use expand 2 for bass, but I found the synth bass, the clicky analog, and what I did with it is I started out with EQ, which I did some craziness to. So what I did with this sound, I boosted the sub and it cuts off in the lower frequencies. And what I did is use a little bit of what do you call that? Well, anyway, I turned boosted the around high mid, you know, level at 1700 hertz. So that way I can get the high frequency, like a little bite, little buzz. Hear it? And to do that, I don't want to mess up the settings. Well, anyway, I won't say this. So to do that, okay, you can change around with these two. The nodes and what you can mess around with it, you'll find out. So next thing, I tried a sausage fattener to bring some more low frequencies and harmonics, but that didn't work. The R bass, I used that initially to kind of zero in on a frequency and have basically harmonics to make it a little more present. Then I used a capitator to give it some distortion. And this is on top of the sound and Fruity Limiter for sidechain. So this is without effects. And notice it sounds super weak and shallow. And I must have spent some serious time actually doing the melody and doing the processing. So this is with the effects. And it's crazy to know I actually heard some potential in this sound before doing all that. Listen. Like before, for some reason I thought I can make that sound dope. So that's crazy. I spent that much time on that. But there you go. I'll use that. You know, you gotta have patience though. Use that in your beats too. You can take any sound and just create something totally different. and make it that much more better. And that's a prime example. So the next sound I added, check it out. And it sounds like a woman singing. It's a nice melody to give it that cool vibe, and it's actually in Contact, and I use Excel by Output. It takes a little while to load. See? And that particular sound was Ghostly Notes, and I wanted something, nothing too extravagant, but just like a background chill vibe. And now we're getting into the percussion. I added like a percussion loop in the background. And it has a nice like bounce to it, and it just gives this background feel, just like something's going down. So with that percussion loop, I kind of built into basically the pattern that I wanted to do with this beat. So I usually start with the kick, and then I added the snare. So this is the kick. Nice. And what I did with the double back, the percussion loop, I just cut the lows, so just the high parts of it cuts through. And that way you have a lot of space for your lower instruments, lower frequency sounds. With the kick, I boosted here and use Sound Goodizer, and that's about it. And the kicks sound good by itself, so, but I just use a couple things to make it sound a little more punchier. And here goes the snare I chose. And notice it's not just an average snare, it's actually layered. I layered it with two different sounds. I layered it with a clap as well in the background, and this is the snare. And what I did, obviously you see in the channel rack here, they're together, but also with the clap, I shifted it big time, so it's off the grid behind after the snare, so it's like this delayed effect, and it makes your neck snap a little bit. See, it has like that lazy vibe, like it's not computerized on the grid. So the other thing I did, what's this? Check it out. It's a shaker, and it's on every beat, I believe, so check it out. And like usually with R&B, I'll do like a straight sequence, a rhythm like that, just to kind of give it some solidity. And next is hi-hats that kind of mixed it up. If you just look at the pattern, you know, it's just like little, I wouldn't call them triplets, but I'll let you hear it. So it's pretty straightforward. I didn't want to do anything too crazy with hi-hats and stuff. And this is like a straight through. And then you got a hit here. It's a vocal. And actually, where did I get that? Yeah, arcade. And it only happens on the one of every beat, so it sounds pretty cool in the chorus. And then we have our 808. And my apologies, it is not an 808. I used 3X OSC, which is a ImageLine native, FL Studio native plugin, and you can make some awesome bass lines with it. It's just with a sine wave and straightforward bass line. Just sounds really good, and I didn't even do that much to it. Just lows. I didn't even do distortion. It sounds good. So you heard a lot of the beat. Those are all the elements that I chose, and it came out pretty well. And I'm gonna play the, I actually used Endless Smile for the intro, and let me see if I can play the video with the mastering effects without the isotope mastering, so that way you can hear that particular sound. So let me go here, and let's turn off you and you. Maybe I'll just leave you on and see what happens. Alright, so I'm gonna play the intro, chorus, and some of the verse so you get the vibe, and hopefully, you know, you can use some of the things that I did in this beat in your own beats and make it dope. Here you go. My bad, I didn't even turn them on, so now they're on. Check it out. Verse. Break. And I noticed I used two different basses. I got the first bass that I did a lot to, and then I got the OSC in the second part of the chorus. So those are cool things you can do with your choruses as well. You can use two different basses. Be careful if you use them at the same time, because you can have some serious frequency craziness going on in the lower end. But yeah, you can try different stuff like that. Have two different basses. And I like to experiment with music, and that's what music should be, man. Don't think you have to do things a certain way because every producer does it a certain way. Feel free to control your DAW, you know, go with these sounds and just create what's in your head. Don't let computers and software limit your creativity, because creativity is limitless. My bad, I don't want to go too ham on the video, but anyway, once again, it's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. And if you like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats. That's PHANATIC, or Sounds for Producers on Instagram as well. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Take all that you can out of it, rewatch it. You know, whatever little gem that's in the video, use it to your best ability and create dope music. Peace and love.